today we're getting right into it. We wanted to make a tier list ranking the top 20 current top 20 ATP players and their chance at ever winning a slam. A lot of people have questions, there's Novak, Alcaraz, Jannik, and those seem to be the players that are just dominating the scene right now, more so Alcaraz and Jannik. But there's all these other players that have made waves in the tennis world. Players like Ben Shelton, Taylor Fritz, Jack Draper, Arthur Fils. And we wanted to see, do any of them have a chance at winning a slam? Well, let's put them in the classic YouTube tier list and find out. We have the man himself, Carlos Alcaraz. Well, this is pretty easy. Not much needs to be said. He is going straight into the S tier, obviously. All right, now up next, we have Francisco Cerundolo. Now, this is interesting because Cerundolo has had some pretty strong appearances. We think back to Indian Wells, where he had a really good run. He is a good clay court player, good hard court player all around. But the problem with Francisco Cerundolo is that it's just too easy to target that backhand side. Although he doesn't make a ton of mistakes on that side, every player that plays him knows that they're going to want to hit to that backhand because not only are they going to possibly draw out more errors, but it's also just going to be less of a weapon for Francisco to really take chops at. So because of that, because of the lack of variety in his game as well, he just tries to really do a lot from the baseline. Power baseliner, avoids coming in when necessary a lot of the times. We think he is probably a D candidate, unfortunately. All right, now Flavio Cobolli. Very interesting here. He had a really crazy run at Wimbledon, and it seems that he's coming into his own. Young player. He's only 23 years old. We think there's a high chance that he could do something spectacular, so we're going to put him in the B tier. Now, Alex de Minaur. As much as we love the speedster himself, or the demon, de Minaur, unfortunately, he just doesn't have the weapons, firepower, and ability to win those easy points. His serve has drastically improved since 2-3 years ago. However, there's still questions in his game. He's also been suffering from burnout, and we don't know how long that will last or whether he's going to be able to get past that mental hurdle. But if we were to put de Minaur somewhere, he's probably slightly above Cerundolo, but we're actually going to put him below Cobolli, especially because he's been around longer. He's already made his statements inside of the top 10, outside of the top 10 here and there. But winning a slam, it's just a different animal, and de Minaur most likely doesn't have what it takes. Now moving on to Arthur Fils. Sort of a similar style of Cerundolo. Big forehand, consistent backhand, but an easy target. And he has ups and downs. Also, his slam performances have not been fantastic. He seems to prefer the 2 out of 3 sets. Now, could he potentially make a deep run somewhere? Absolutely. He has the game, we think, more than Cerundolo to do some heavy damage, especially to those top players. And he's already proved that. He's beaten players like Medvedev and so on and so forth. Is he going to be better than Cobolli? They're similar age, young guys. We think probably not. So we're going to put Arthur Fils above Cobolli in the B tier, but still the B tier all the same. Now Taylor Fritz. Taylor Fritz is 27 years old, getting closer to that 30 mark. Made a great run to the Wimbledon semifinals this year. He's been very consistent. He just got bumped up to number 4 in the world, surpassing Jack Draper. I mean, look, is he the best American? Probably, but it's sheerly based off of consistency. We think that there's an American who is younger, with more firepower, who once he develops his game, has a better chance at actually winning a slam. So because of that, we're gonna put Fritz in the A tier. We think that he could have a crazy run where he's able to take out an Alcaraz or a Sinner, but not both in the same tournament. He'd have to get a lucky draw. And it's possible. We'll see what he does at the US Open this year. He's got a massive serve, so it's easy for him to hold serve most of the time. One of the most consistent backhands on turn, a good return for a guy his size, and a monster forehand. He has the weapons, the game. His movement is what really holds him back, and his net game could still use some improvement, and that's important. We want to make sure that we find players that still need improvement, because if we find players that look like they've plateaued and they've already reached their peak level, players like Minaur, Serundolo, then it's really difficult to put them above in any of the above tiers. Now we got Jack Draper. This one's pretty straightforward. We're actually going to put him in the S tier alongside Carlos Alcaraz. Now, the reason he's in the S tier is because we believe that he will break through at some point. He has the game, he has the weapons, huge lefty forehand. He hasn't even utilized his leftiness as much as we've seen. He made big waves on clay this year. We think this year is just the starting point for Jack Draper, and that he will 100% in his career take home a slam. Draper and Khachanov, another very consistent player, similar to the likes of Minaur, and around the same, another 90s kid, very solid backhand, big forehand, good serve, but the problem is that the variety really isn't there. He has that grit, but will he ever, he's very consistent, makes it deep in a lot of tournaments, but will he ever be able to surpass someone like Alcaraz, Draper, Fritz, even Arthur Fils when he's older, Cobolli, these guys coming up? We don't think so. So because of that, we're going to put him right next to Minaur. Now Medvedev. So he's already done it, but we're talking about the future here. Unfortunately, Medvedev has not showed any signs of having a chance at grasping a slam. And he's been losing to guys that, truthfully, he has no right losing to. And because of that, we also think that players are just figuring him out. When he first arrived, returning from 15, 20 feet behind the baseline, people were astounded as to just what was going on, what was happening, how he was getting these returns back. But people have kind of figured it out. A lot of players are serving and volleying more against him. I mean, watch Alcaraz play Medvedev, and it's just an absolute dismantling of level. So because of that, Medvedev belongs right alongside his fellow 90s brothers, Khachanov and Minaur. Now, Tiafoe Mensik is an interesting pick. He's made some big waves this year. Very good all-around player, was a great next-gen star. And because he's so young, similar to Cobolli and Fils, we think he's better than both of them, Cobolli and Fils, because he's got the more all-around game. Watch him transition to net, and it's more natural than how Cobolli does it, and it's more natural than how Fils does it. Because of that, we're going to put him right next to Taylor Fritz in the A tier. Up next, we have Lorenzo Musetti. Again, Lorenzo Musetti has had very good consistency this year. He made the semis of Roland Garros, which was a very good result for him, but his body didn't hold up. And our question is, will it ever? Will Musetti's body ever hold up to finish a tournament like that? Could he win another Masters 1000, even a slam? We don't think so. There's really no chance. And because of that, we're going to put him in the Medvedev, Khachanov, and Minaur category. Okay, now here is a pretty sad one. The GOAT himself, Novak Djokovic. Does he still have what it takes to surpass Alcaraz and Sinner in a tournament? Can he beat both of them? Because that's what it takes right now. You have to get through both Alcaraz and Sinner to win a tournament, especially a slam. And as much as we hate to say it, we think he's just not there, and that he actually belongs in the same category as Fritz and Mensik. Now, hear us out. We know he's the GOAT, and he's still showing pretty good level. I mean, he looked good at Wimbledon, but the second he stepped on the court and looked across the net, and Jannik Sinner was standing there, it was just a full-on display of Sinner devastation, and Novak couldn't stand a chance. To be honest, Fritz looked better against Alcaraz than Novak did against Jannik. We know it might be a hot take, but that's where we think he belongs. Tommy Paul. Tommy Paul, great player, good transition game, great volleys, very big forehand, solid consistent flat backhand, but let's be for real here. Will he ever win a slam? Absolutely no chance. He just doesn't have the game for it. To win a slam nowadays, you don't just need a weapon. You need multiple weapons that can just control the court. If you watch the Wimbledon final, Jannik Sinner and Alcaraz are both hitting serves 130 mph plus. On top of that, they're blasting forehands at 105 miles an hour and backhands at 105 miles an hour. They don't have weaknesses. The only player that gets close to that is Novak. Even he doesn't have the firepower that Alcaraz and Sinner do. And Tommy Paul is just another example of a player who's strong and could do something at some point, like maybe win a Masters 1000 if he gets a lucky draw or something along those lines. But he belongs in the same category as Minaur, Khachanov, Medvedev, Musetti. Andrei Rublev. We actually have a lot of good things to say about Andrei Rublev. Rublev has that firepower. He has the Alcaraz forehand, Sinner forehand firepower. He has the ability to just hit players off the court. His transition game definitely is lacking a bit, but we actually think he has a bigger game than most of the players in the C tier. The problem with Rublev is the mental side of tennis. He just breaks down, loses his temper, and is unable to regain it. Now, let's think about it though. Does he have a better chance at winning a slam than Minaur, Khachanov, Medvedev, Musetti, and Tommy Paul now? We think he does. And if he's able to pull his head together, maybe go do some therapy, he belongs in this B tier, in between Fritz and Cobolli. Casper Ruud, Casper Ruud, Casper Ruud. French Open finalist, US Open finalist, number 2 in the world at one point, but remember, that was when the game was in its transition phase. We actually saw a comment in one of our most recent videos, the rise and fall of Lleyton Hewitt, and somebody said that Hewitt was a transitional champion, and we couldn't have put it any better. Casper Ruud is exactly that, a transitional potential champion, and belongs in the same category as Tommy Paul, Musetti, Medvedev, Khachanov, and Minaur. And Medvedev should probably be leading this group, in all fairness. Drum roll please, because here he is. The American star who we think can do it, Ben Shelton. Now yes, his game is raw and unfiltered and definitely needs some adjustments. However, he's so extremely young, same age as Sinner, or maybe a year younger. He has so many more years than a Fritz to develop. He's got that lefty spin, the massive forehand lefty serve, arguably a better serve than Fritz. And because of that, with all the variety in his game and his ability to win those big matches and clutch up, we gotta put him where he belongs, in that S tier. Jannik Sinner, pretty self-explanatory. There's not much we have to say. Him and Alcaraz are going to be absolutely dominating the next decade, probably. As long as Jannik Sinner stays healthy, he'll continue to pick up slams quite consistently. Frances Tiafoe. Again, we don't have much to say about Big Foe. We love him here at Hot Take Tennis HQ. We really do, but he really is just in the same category as his compatriot Paul. And we actually even put him at slightly lower in the tier list there. He's got big games, but the only chance he has ever is at the US Open because he just struggles on any surface that's not hard. Now, Alexander Zverev. Here's where the real hot take comes. If anybody watched his performance at Wimbledon, we think Zverev is broken. Broken from that US final against Dominic Thiem. That did something to him mentally to where he may no longer have the belief that he can even win one of these big tournaments. He's the same age as Fritz, 27 years old, but instead of reaching his renaissance period, he's dropping like a ton of bricks. And because of that, we even think a player like Serundolo has a better chance of scooping a slam than Zverev does. Sorry, Alexander, but we're putting you in the F tier. Now, Holger Rune. A lot of people thought that Holger Rune was going to be the breakout star similar to an Alcaraz or Sinner. The projected next big three. Alcaraz, Sinner, Rune. But what has really happened? What does it really look like? It's Alcaraz, Sinner, and then Draper, more so now, people talk about, And Rune is slowly becoming an afterthought. He plays well when it seems like he wants to play well, and never anything else. And if he's not feeling his game 100%, he just seems to give up. His mental game is not there. But do we believe he has the game to take one of the biggest tournaments in the world? Absolutely. He does have the ability. And because of that, he belongs in the A tier in between Fritz and Novak. Well, here is our tier list. What do you think? Starting from top to bottom, we have Sinner, Alcaraz, Draper, Shelton, Novak, Rune, Fritz, Mensik, Fils, Rublev, Cobolli, Medvedev, Minaur, Khachanov, Musetti, Paul, Tiafoe, Ruud, Serundolo, and finally, Zverev. Where would you rank each of these top 20 ATP players? Would you put them in similar categories, or did we have a big miss? What do you think of our placement of Zverev? What do you think of our placement of Draper and Shelton? Are these hot takes, or are these just self-explanatory? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.